Hey Soumya, can you do this calculation for me? 5237 times 1998.
One sec. I can't really live without this calculator. Can you? We all use calculator application in our mobile phones to do quick calculation. In this tutorial, I will help you understand. I'll teach you how to code and develop a calculator application. Hello everyone and welcome to Scalar's YouTube channel. I am Soumya, a software engineer and an educator. This is tutorial 2 of the Android app development series where I will help you understand the calculator application. Before we deep dive into the tutorial, make sure you check out our free masterclasses by industry leading experts on Scalar's event page. Link is in the description. Let's get into the video and write the code. These are the two app UIs that we will be building today. This is UI 1 and this is UI 2. If you have followed the first tutorial of mine where I have taught how to build a portfolio application, in the first UI, things will be pretty much similar. This is edit text. Like in the last one, we use some of the views like buttons, text views. This will be also very much simple. This is a bit tricky and I'll help you understand how to design the second one. So let's jump into Android Studio and try to make the first UI and the logic of that one. So for that, we know what to do. The very first step is we have to click on new project and empty activity. As always, you also know what other activities are and in what cases we can use them. For now, we have to keep it simple. So we will start with the empty activity. Let's name the project. This is our calculator application. So let's write calculator app and package name as it is. This is the location of the project and we will write code in Kotlin. So this is the language Kotlin and minimum SDK is API 21. Let's click on finish and then some Gradle builds will happen depending upon what your laptop RAM storage and all is. It will take 1 to 2 minutes. For me, it's quick right now. So this is main activity.kt. It's loaded. If you want to understand what all these features are, the manifest file, app file, Java folder, everything, we have covered everything in detail in the first tutorial, the portfolio one. So you can check out that one. We will put the link in the description. So let's move ahead and we now know what the UI is. So we will go into the split section. We have to make a simple calculator application. The very first thing that we want is we will use linear layout. If you have again follow the first one, you already know what layout options are. So here we will use the linear layout and orientation. Let's keep it vertical only because I want all the views to be one after another. First of all, we will have two edit text to get the input from the user. Then a result text view will be there where I'll show the result. If you're doing addition, subtraction, anything, we have to show the result there in the text view. And apart from that, we will have some buttons to do the operation like plus, minus, divide, everything. Okay. Next, we have to bring some text input layouts. So let's quickly drag and drop this text input layout here on the screen. This is first one and this is second one because in our calculator, we'll expect two inputs from the user for, let's say you want to do addition, multiplication, anything. So we'll need two inputs. And after that, we also need a text view to show the result. This is our text view in which we will show the result. Right now the layout is obviously distorted, so let's get into the code path in the XML code and fix the design of this one. So we have used linear layout here to keep stuff simple. We will remove this hello world text from here, and this is vertical orientation because we want everything in vertical orientation. Okay, this is the first text input layout inside which we have this text input edit text to get the input from the user. The very first thing that we will do is we will give it one name that is the ID. Every view should have a unique ID. We know that. This should be called, we can keep it short like edit text input 1 or something to make it simple because in our Kotlin or Java code, we will be directly referencing these IDs, right? So this is our first text input edit text. And here you can see like it's occupying too much space. We know match parent and wrap content as well from the last tutorial. So what we'll do, this one is match parent, that is we have given it the instruction to occupy all the space available, right? And height is wrap content. Let's quickly give some padding and margin to this view, and margin as well. Okay, we should better give all these margin and padding to the text input layout. So because this input edit text is inside the input layout only, right? So let's quickly put it here in the input layout. Awesome. And in the same way we will do for this one, so that there is enough there's enough gap between them. Like, see, in this one, in the first one, this text input layout, the width is match parent and the height is also match parent, but we don't want the height to be exactly match parent, otherwise it will occupy all the space, right? So we'll make it a wrap content. Perfect. And inside this first text input layout, this is our text input edit text. And if you notice here, so the other text input layout and the edit text, it is somehow coming inside the first text input layout because we use the drag and drop feature, and that's why it's not really recommended to use that, because sometimes it really messes things up. So what we'll do, we will keep it outside, and let me fix the UI first. This is our text input layout, first one, and inside this we don't want this text view, we want the result to be out of the edit text, right? So this is sorted, the first text input layout, and after that we have this text input layout for the second input, and we'll give the padding, margin, everything here, so that these both look very much, similar. This is padding, and quickly we will give the margin as well. Let's keep it 10 dp, same as the first input, better. And we want the height to be wrap content. Perfect, these two inputs are sorted now. After this, what we will do, we will create a text view to store the result. We see that the height is wrap content here and it's occupying all the space, right? And width should be match parent. And let's give it a height, fixed height of 100 dp. Okay. And at the same time, we will write here result text view. Awesome. And right now you can see like height is getting, it is covering all the space in the layout, right? So quickly we will fix that. Before that, the gravity should be center, and the layout gravity as well as the normal gravity both should be center. We will quickly change the hint text here and write enter input 1, so that our user understand that here they have to enter the number 1, enter input 1, and in the same way we'll ask the user to enter the second input here. Awesome. And moving ahead, we have to remove the weight here, so that its height is adjusted. Perfect. And we will quickly make the text size better because we want the result to be better, right? It should be bigger. Let's make it 25 dp. Awesome. And this is a typo here, input 1. If you want, you can reduce the padding and margin so that these both input texts are a bit closer. Let's move ahead and try to put some buttons quickly here so that the user can perform some operation. For that, what do you think? I mean, which layout should we use? You already have developed one application, the portfolio one. So tell us in the comment which linear layout or constraint layout, which layout you would like to use here. I'm going to use linear layout here. In that, I'll put like 2 buttons horizontally, and you can use the like drag and drop feature as well if you are more comfortable there, and do the fixing stuff there in the code part. You already know how to do this. In the layout section, you can see all the layouts are here. layout horizontal is something which we want here, right? So I'll quickly put linear layout horizontal. So as you can see right now, none of the views are visible. We will quickly copy this and bring this at the bottom so that the buttons are placed at the bottom. Okay, awesome. Now we will give some buttons here. We will add some buttons in this layout. You can do this either via code or maybe from here. So here goes the button 1 and the button 2, where we will add some options like plus, minus, something like that. Don't worry about the congested space. We'll fix all those stuff quickly. And let's write here plus, and this will be your minus operation, and similarly more basic operations like division and all. Okay, cool. The very important thing, we will use these buttons in our code. On clicking this, what action should be performed, so we have to give it a meaningful name, an ID. Okay, btn plus, that is button plus, it is the ID, and this one is btn minus. Awesome. And moving ahead, let's quickly fix the spacing and everything. If I will give weight 2, so it will occupy more space. We don't want that, so we'll just keep the weight 1. It was just to tell you the significance of the weight parameter, layout weight. So we'll quickly give some margin here so that it looks better, 20 dp, and same goes to the minus button, margin of 10 dp. These margin padding, these are some of the quick features, to fix the view where it should be, especially when you're using linear layout. In constraint, you mostly will be using the drag and drop feature from the design section here. If you see here, it's a bit like they are not in the same position. Let's quickly see what's wrong in our layout, in our design. So this is linear layout. We have used horizontal, width is match parent. We want it to be wrap content and not match parent, so that only this much space is used. And okay, margin we are giving 20 here and 10 here. That's why a bit of change in the height was there. Now it's perfect. We will quickly copy this for the remaining operations and paste it just below this one. And we want to change the ID, the names of the view. Let's make it divide, and this should be multiplication. Okay, awesome. We are almost done with the UI part. Let's change it to divide, and this should be again multiplication. Now we have to quickly write the code, the logic part for this one. You can see here, if the spelling and all is going a bit more, so it's getting stretched. So what you can do here is, because we are using wrap content, and I have already told you the significance of wrap content is it will occupy space as per need, and match parent occupies all the space available. So I will hard code the width so that all the buttons are kind of in the same, they look similar, right? So let's try 200 dp. It's a bit more, so we'll keep 150 dp constant for all of these views. Okay, 150 dp is also, I guess, a bit not suitable for this one. It's better. I mean, multiplication should be adjusted in this one, so we will give it width of 150 dp, and here as well 150 dp. Way better. It's look like all these are looking a bit similar, right? And quickly, because there should be some gap between result text view and all these buttons, so we will add margin here, margin of, let's say, 10 dp only. Better. And same with this layout. Awesome. So UI part is done. Let's quickly jump and write the code part. Let me tell you, in the code part in Kotlin, although Kotlin itself is very simple and sweet language, but what we will do is, in our Gradle scripts, in our build Gradle, we will add one plugin. The plugin will help us use these IDs directly. Like, the name of this plus button is btn plus. So I can simply say btn plus dot set on click listener. In the last project, what we did, we used the find view by id, that feature, that method we used, right? So here we don't need to do that. What I'll do is I'll put a plugin, apply plugin, and okay, the name of the plugin is Android Kotlin extension, something like that. If you exactly don't recall the name, you can just Google it out. Android Kotlin extensions. I hope the name is correct and there is no spelling mistake. So we just have to click on the sync now button. Android Kotlin extensions. Okay, the name is incorrect. Let's quickly check the name of the extension. Android Kotlin extension. Android Kotlin extension plugin, and it is Kotlin Android extensions. Perfect. So swapping off some of the words, Kotlin Android and extension. Let's click on try again. It should build fine now. Build successful. Awesome. So we'll quickly go in the main activity, and you already now know what all these classes are, why we use on create method. I've explained it thoroughly in the last tutorial. We will quickly jump into the code part now. I already have told you well and where are the keywords used for creating variables in Kotlin. So we will create our first variable, that is input one, and we'll initialize it here only. Now let me tell you, our next step is we want the input from the user. Whatever we have to fetch that input, whatever the user will write here, we have to get that, right? And before that, let's say when the user clicks on plus button or something, let me do this here. First of all, let's write it multiply, and let's say the user clicks on plus button. So we have to fetch the input 1 and input 2, and we have to show that in the result text view. That's our goal. So you already know, we have to now we can get the IDs directly because we have used this plugin, Kotlin Android extensions, right? So btn plus dot set on click listener. When this button will be clicked, then we have to do some operation. That operation is we want to fetch the input, and at the same time we have to do the operation in the background and show the output in the result text view. For fetching the input from the user, what we have to do now, you have to listen to me carefully. We have created these input layouts, right? This is the text input layout, the outer area, and inside this we have one text input edit text. What we will do, we will give it a name. It already has a name. We have given it et input 1. So I will do et input 1 and get text. We will get the text from the whatever is written there, we will get that. To get text or set text, we have this, you can see text option is here. This is from the method get text only. Input 1 dot get text dot, we have to convert this into a string first, and after that, because we have to perform operation, we can't do multiplication, subtraction, all those on a string. So we have to convert it into integer. So to int, perfect. And in the same way, we have to fetch the input from the second input text, that is this one. The name of this one is not yet defined, so let's quickly give it a name, id, and in the same way as we gave name to this one, et input 1, so we will name it et input 2. Perfect. So here we will say input 2. Input 2 is equal to et input 2 from the activity main.xml.getText, and again we have to convert it first into a string and then in integer because we have to do some operations. So we have fetched the input whatever user has entered. Now our next step is we want to do something in the result text view. We have to quickly show the result in this text view. So it is having text view as the ID, as its name. We will rename it to TV text view result. This is our result text view. Okay, it is to make things clear when you write code, when you will develop bigger applications, then these namings will be very much helpful, because in your code you will always be calling these views, right? So now we will say TV result dot set text. We will set the text. Now what do we want to display here? The user is clicking on plus button. We have fetched the input from the user. Input 1 we have, input 2 you have. It can be 20 input 1 and input 2 can be 50. So we have to print 70, right? So what I will do now, I will perform the addition operation on input 1 and input 2. After doing this, you can see it showing some error. So why it is showing error? You have to read the error messages and all. This way, when you keep the cursor on the error line, it will tell you there is a type mismatch. It is expecting char sequence, but we are giving integer. Input 1 and input 2, both these variables are of int type, right? But this is expecting a string. It is expecting char sequence. For that, you simply have to use inbuilt method. That is, you have to convert this integer result into a string, and for that this is a simple method. So anytime you get error, you just have to keep your cursor on that error line and you will get the hint, I mean what the error is, and you can quickly fix that, right? So we have done the code part for the plus button. Whenever the user will click on the plus button, we simply will fetch the input 1, input 2, and we will set the result text. We'll do this operation input 1 plus input 2 and we'll quickly print it. Let's run the app and see if our code is working fine or not. Click on the run button. It will take some time to do the build, and till then these are the dependencies section. We haven't added any third-party dependencies. It should be quick to build. So this is the app that we built. Let's try writing some input, 80 and 20. If I click on plus button, the output should show up here hundreds, and it's showing up, right? So that means our code is working completely fine. This is the basic logic for this simple calculator application. Now, in the starting of the video, I told you that we will be building one simple UI as well as a complex one. Let me get back to the iPad and give you some assignment for this one, because the app is not yet complete. We wrote the logic for the plus button, right? We have to complete the other operations as well. Now that we have built the logic for one of the operation, for you the assignment is, we had this calculator application. We took input from the user and we showed the result here in the result text view, and then we have some of the operation buttons like plus, minus, and multiplication, division. We wrote the logic for the first one. In this one, we didn't use implicit, explicit intent or any such concepts. It's just simple maths, and you have to implement the logic for the remaining ones. You have to write the logic for the other operations. Once you are done with the tutorial, with your application, this simple one, after this we will be doing the little bit complex UI. I will just explain quickly the UI part to you all, so that you can understand in XML if you have to do some a bit complex UI, then how you will do that. Once you are done completing the logic part of this application, make sure you show it on the internet, tag Scalar, tag me, put it on LinkedIn, Tech Twitter, and like people will see it, right? It will help you build your own portfolio. If you are pushing it on GitHub, there is a complete tutorial. Let me tell you, I have explained on this channel itself, on Scalar's YouTube channel. We will put all the details in the description. There I have also explained, like if you have to do open source contribution, if you have to make pull request or do some contribution any other project, you can learn that as well from there. And maintaining a good developer profile is really helpful in excelling your tech career. So now you have to complete this assignment, the simple application, and let's get back in the Android Studio and try developing the other UI, that is this UI, in which you have to make some more buttons. It's a bit like a standard UI of calculator, the orange theme and everything. We'll quickly develop this one. For that, let's create a new project, right? You already know the steps to create a project. Now we'll click on new project. We will choose one empty activity from here. Let's quickly do that. Click on next, and this is calculator 2, or you can write anything, whatever you want the project name to be. Then package name, we will keep the language Kotlin only, and this is the minimum SDK. Let's click on finish, and we will quickly see how to make UI of such a bit like complex application. The main purpose I'm picking this UI because I have to explain the style.xml, theme.xml, those parts. In this logic, I'll ask you to write on your own. If you can't, I can make a separate detailed tutorial on completing the logic of this one. It will be a bit similar to the first one, but not exactly. So let us know in the comment if you want us to make a detailed logic video for this one. But first of all, let's understand the style.xml, the theme.xml, all such stuff, because whenever you are going to do some real world app development, these things are very important. When you are doing UI where you have to do same stuff every time, so it's a good thing to keep all these stuff at one place, and that's how style.xml, all those stuff come into picture. First of all, what I will do is, you are already now familiar with this Android Studio, all the features here. I will go in resource folder. Resource folder is the folder in which we keep all the important design stuff, UI, UX stuff, okay? So this is our resource folder. The drawable is here. We will directly jump into the values directory. Just remove the night theme because we don't want that, to keep it simple, okay? In colors.xml, I don't want these many color themes to be here. First of all, we will go here and remove all these extra options. I just want black and white, maybe we can keep. If you look here, the theme here is kind of orangish, right? So we will use that only, orange and almost black color, white and red, right? Let's quickly do that. Let's remove all these extra color options, and we will declare our own color based on what theme and everything we want. First of all, orange. Obviously, as a developer, no one expects you to remember the hexacode for all the colors. For orange, it's, I guess, somewhat like FF8C00, but yeah, it's almost orangish. Then after that, we have this black color, white color, and we also want somewhat black, which is kind of light black color, right? I'm telling you so that you get to use the values directory as well whenever you are doing the design part, okay? Almost black, and for that we will use the code like 222 is the like light blackish code, so let's use that one. You can see here, this is one of the finest feature. I mean, they give the live preview of the colors as well, whatever code you are writing. Awesome. So we'll get into the theme section. Here you can see there are so many errors. We don't want all these secondary brand colors. We'll just remove it. We want the primary color to be, we want this orangish to be our primary color, right? And we will do the theme to be app compact. So let's fix the theme as well. Theme dot app compact. Okay, it's not showing the option right now. So what I'll do is I'll quickly refresh it. We will change our theme here to app compacts and remove the dark action bar. Perfect. And we will change the color here, the primary color, to orange, and this one we want like light blackish. Awesome. After this, we'll quickly jump to the layout section, that is activity main.xml. This is the split part. Now what we will do here, the very first thing, we will use linear layout, and Obviously we want everything to be in vertical orientation, right? So let's give it orientation vertical, and we don't need this text view hello world. We can like maybe reuse this for the working text view. So for now I'm writing here some like numbers. User, we want the users to write some numbers here, whatever operation they want us to do, okay? And after that we will give it some id that you can do on your own, like when you write the logic. And quickly we will make it look better. We don't want this constraint options because in linear layout you don't need this, right? And this is your text view. Let's make it size better, 25 dp, and it should be match parent the width so that it covers the entire area. We will quickly change the gravity as well to center, layout gravity as well as the normal gravity to center. Perfect. And simply we also want the user to after they're done writing the like the expression part, we want to show the result. For that as well we'll need one text view. This is result text view. Let me explain that to you why we did that with the help of the iPad. So let's quickly connect it. Awesome. So if you see the the second UI, first one we already have done. So in the second one, what we want is here in this area, let me write with the pen. In this area, what the user will do, they will write some stuff like, let's say they will press on 2 plus 5 or multiply something like that, okay? So this is first text view in which we want the user uh, to write something. I mean, whatever key they will press, we are not using edit input text here. There is a reason for that. I'll tell you. This is the second text view in which we want to show the result to the user, okay? Here, because obviously it's not visible when the user will write something, so like the text will show here. This is how exactly most of the calculators work, right? So this is first text view and the second one is to show the result. So let's get back into our Android Studio. We don't want to exactly show these options here. The text view, like we can remove the numbers part and the result text view to make the UI a bit better. After that, the main stuff comes. You have to create your own styles.xml. This is the main part that I wanted to tell you when it comes to UI UX part in mobile application. After this, we want to create a kind of button area here. Let's do one thing. For that we will create a linear layout, and in every row, for example, there like each of these are rows, right? For every row we want a specific design rule. So we will create our own styles.xml here, new, and to create new file like new xml, you just have to click on file, and in the values directory, let's create our own styles.xml so that we can reuse the same style for all the button rows, okay? So I'll go in values folder, right click, new, and we have to create a value resource file, right? So let's quickly do that. Or you can you can do by clicking on the file button as well. You can create a file and give the extension name .xml. We here now want value resource file. Let's quickly create that. This will be our styles, the file name, and press on OK. Perfect. Here we want to create some styles. Wait, not a style sheet. So, okay, inside resource, we have to create the tag style. So here we will create our own style. The name of this one can be, because we want to define a style for each row. Like this is row 1, this is row 2, right? So we will give it a name button row. Makes sense, right? And inside this we will create some items. We will give it some name, like we want here the width to be match parent. If you have been following the last tutorial, then you already would be knowing why we give match parent or wrap content, right? So quickly we will give the width here, width, Android layout width as match parent. And in the same way, we will create another item quickly, that is height, Android layout height, and we want the height to be a wrap content, or you can keep it like 0 dp. It will occupy the needed space only. Perfect. And also we will give it a weight. Weight should be 1 dp. Perfect. Okay, it's asking some other input here. So weight, if you like have been following the tutorials, we know that weight is to help the view understand how much, how much weight, how much area it should take up in the entire space. So for each of the rows, we have given match parent as the width, we have the height as wrap content, and for the weight we can just define 1. Perfect. And similarly, let's quickly do one thing. Let's split the screen so that we can see what's going in the style section and the design part. Let's stretch it a bit, and now we will jump on and create the linear layout again. So in this linear layout, what I want is, I'll do nothing. I will just tell this, I will give it the instruction that use the same style what I created here in styles.xml. So style button row, this is exactly what I want to do. This is the beauty of creating your own style. I mean, you can just reuse the style whenever you want, however you want. I will be creating similar button rows multiple times. Like we have to use this. There are kind of 5 rows, right? So we'll use this style 5 times. It would be like if let's say I would have not created this style, then I would have to write this code multiple times, 5 times. So let's be wise and try to create some common styles in the styles.xml. Okay. So once you are done creating the linear layout, the very next thing that you have to do is, right now it's not much clear, I understand, but it will be once we have done all stuff. For buttons as well, now you can see we want similar buttons multiple times. So again, what I will do is, I will go here in the styles.xml. For the buttons as well, I will create a style. Let's name it button number. This will be the style for all the buttons which are having some numbers. Okay, the words are pretty much self-explanatory. We will create the options here like width and everything. In this case, we will keep the width as 0 dp and height as match parent. Item name, and here goes the height as match parent. Just a second. Height, and this is your Android layout height, which is match parent. Awesome. And we will also give it the same weight. These are done. After this, for our text, we want some some styling or such a stuff. So you can do this from here. You can see multiple options here, like text size. If you want to give let's say 20 dp or something, you can do that. We will see how much is needed, what is needed. And we want the color to be text color to be white, right? So let's use the white color from the colors.xml. Now let's come back to the XML part. Let's close the split section, and this is our XML part, right? So we will just reduce its space, and here we will instruct it to use the style, same style as we declared, that is button number. The second one. Awesome. After we have created the first style here, it's occupying a lot of space right now, but what we will do is we have to create kind of 5 similar buttons, and once we will like do this for all of these, then it'll look better. So if you look here, we'll need 4 such buttons, and we have created 4. So quickly let's do this. We want similar 5 rows. Okay, so just some sort of repetition that we have to do, and it's kind of helping us save time. Otherwise you have written the same thing multiple times really. So that's it. After that, what we will do is we will go here, and we want all these areas to be kind of, we don't want the buttons to start from like that much top, right? So let's quickly give some margin here, margin of maybe 20 dp, and here as well margin of 20 dp. One by one we will fix the UI stuff, and this is button number design, right? Let's quickly go in the style section, and we don't want the text size to be this much big. It should be around 10 dp. And back to the activity main, let's go to the project section. Let me open it up, drag and drop it. And here is our, in the layout section, activity main.xml. Okay, you can see, I mean, we have created the designs, but somewhere it's like based on the layout, we will change our common style.xml here. Let's try making the numbers here. So the very first thing is, in this button we want to show text. It should start from like clear button, right? So we'll quickly summarize it. You just have to fill in the numbers here in the boxes, and to make the layout a bit, to keep a gap between the result text view and the buttons, you can add a linear layout here, as simple as I have been doing in all other tutorials. I'll quickly do this linear layout thingy here, and we will close it here after the two text boxes, text views. Perfect, way better. And you just have to follow the UI from here. Like, we'll make it red and oranges, all those stuff. We'll create new styles for them. Let's quickly write the numbers here, like 7, 8, 9. Okay, here we go. This is the button and this is the text view. I was just going to write the numbers in the text itself, like in the design part. We can't do that, right? We have to write the XML code. So here we'll write 9, or is it 7? So we'll start from 7 and then 8 and 9. Let's quickly do this part. 7. Similarly, we will fill the numbers in all the remaining buttons. Now we have to increase the weight of this equal button so that it occupies this kind of a space. For that, you have to use the layout weight and give it value 2. We don't want this extra button, so let's quickly remove it. Now if you observe here, for some of the buttons, for some of the operation buttons, there is a different design. So what you can do is, in this one, let's quickly fill in the background as orange, right? And apart from that, we can create a style we will quickly go to styles.xml and create a new style for the button operations. Okay, let's paste this. Wait, let's copy this and we will quickly paste this here. Change the style to button operations. Button operations. And what we have to do is we have to change the text color here to orange because we want the operation to be visible in orange color kind of, right? So text color, here is the option text style, text background. For the operation button, let's quickly change the text color to orange, and when we'll come back to our main activity, so we just have to change the style here to button operation instead of button number, and it will do the work for you, right? So for all the operation ones, we'll do the same thing. So almost we are done developing the UI of this one. Let's quickly run and see how this looks like on the emulator. If you are using your Android phone for the testing purpose, you can do that as well. Okay, XML. So it's almost like cool. It looks like a real world calculator app, the orangish and light blackish theme. So the main purpose of explaining the UI of this one is you can use the themes.xml to create your own themes. You can use styles.xml if there is a design which is repetitive, like we had to make these rows multiple times, right? So instead of writing code multiple time, we can put everything here in the styles.xml. So the UI part, I hope of this one is a bit clear. You already know how to use linear layout, how to use these views, and now styles.xml, themes.xml, all those parts are also clear. So what you have to do apart from completing the logic of the first one, where it's very simple, you have to do this project as well and put it on the internet once again, complete both these assignments. And let me quickly tell you few of the extra things that you can do in your mobile application project. So we can cover this maybe in the coming tutorials and all. If you are developing any application, so you can use these onboarding examples as well. Let's say you are developing chat application or Spotify, any application. So there are some third party libraries. It's very easy to integrate these features in your application. Main part is the logic and using all those concepts like intents and all those things which are very core concept of application development. For stuff like onboarding example, you can just use a third party library where we use that plugin, no, apply plugin, Kotlin Android extension. At the same place, you just have to put a dependency. They will provide you their docs. You just have to read that and integrate those features. Okay, so don't worry about these extra stuff, these extra UI thingy. These are very simple. All you have to understand is the logic part, how to create the application. If the flow is clear, the life cycle thing, all those stuff are clear, then it will be very easy for you to develop awesome applications. An assignment, you already know what you have to do. You have to complete the projects and push it on GitHub, show it on the internet, do a recording of your project and tell the world like you have developed this application. So if you have any doubts about this tutorial, drop them in the comment section below and we will be happy to answer them. If you love this tutorial, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Also, make sure you complete this assignment and let us know in the comment section which app you want me to build next.